In the heart of Syria, one man walked a razor-thin line between life and death. He was not just a spy, he was Israel's secret weapon. His intelligence saved countless lives and changed the course of history. But his daring mission came at a cost that would break hearts and echo through generations. Who was Eli Cohen? And how did his story shape the fate of a nation? This is a tale of courage, sacrifice, and betrayal that you won't forget. To fully grasp the impact of Eli Cohen's espionage, we must first understand the man himself. Eliyahu ben Shaul Cohen, better known as Eli Cohen, was born in 1924 in the bustling city of Alexandria, Egypt, to Jewish parents. His family was deeply rooted in Zionist values, instilling in him a strong connection to the Jewish people and their dreams of returning to their homeland. Eli grew up in a community that celebrated both Jewish traditions and Middle Eastern culture. His father, originally from Syria, emigrated to Egypt in 1914. The family spoke fluent Arabic at home, immersing Eli in the language and culture that would later become essential to his success as a spy. Even as a boy, Eli showed a remarkable ability to adapt and excel, quickly learning French and Hebrew alongside Arabic, making him multilingual at a young age. Eli's teenage years coincided with the rise of anti-Semitism and increasing hostility towards Jews in Egypt. As tensions escalated, the once thriving Jewish community faced persecution. Eli witnessed his community's struggles firsthand, which likely shaped his deep-seated resolve to fight for the survival of the Jewish people. When many of his family members emigrated to Israel in 1949, Eli chose to stay behind to complete his studies in electronics and to assist in Operation Goshen, a covert mission to smuggle Jews out of Egypt and into Israel. By the early 1950s, Eli's involvement in Zionist activities made him a target for Egyptian authorities. Arrested multiple times on suspicion of subversive activities, he was interrogated but never convicted due to insufficient evidence. These encounters showcased his ability to remain calm under pressure, an early glimpse of the traits that would later define his career as a spy. In 1957, after being expelled from Egypt during the Suez Crisis, Eli joined his family in Israel. Despite his hardships, he arrived in Israel with unwavering optimism, eager to contribute to the fledgling state. Settling in the city of Bat Yam, Eli took a position as a filing clerk, but the job left him unfulfilled. Fluent in Arabic, French, and Hebrew, with an innate ability to connect with others, he was a natural candidate for intelligence work. Initially, he joined a military intelligence unit as an analyst. However, he found the desk-bound role mundane and longed for something greater. Eli applied to the Mossad, Israel's elite intelligence agency, but was rejected during his first attempt. While this initial setback would discourage many, it only fueled Eli's determination. He worked diligently to prove his value, and fate would eventually come knocking when the Mossad realized his unique skill set perfectly suited him for a highly dangerous mission. Eli Cohen's mission in Syria was one of the most daring and impactful operations in the history of espionage. In 1960, as tensions with Syria escalated, Israeli intelligence needed someone capable of penetrating the upper echelons of Syrian society to gather critical information. Eli Cohen's unique blend of linguistic fluency, cultural knowledge, and unwavering determination made him the perfect candidate. Eli Cohen underwent intensive training with the Mossad. Over 6 months, he mastered the art of covert operations, training in weapons handling, cryptography, surveillance techniques, and radio transmissions. But the most crucial part of his preparation was the creation of his new identity. Kamal Amin Thabet, a wealthy Syrian businessman born in Beirut and raised in Argentina. This backstory was meticulously crafted to give Cohen a credible reason to return to Syria. In 1961, Cohen moved to Buenos Aires, Argentina, where he began establishing his cover. He seamlessly integrated into the local Syrian diaspora, building relationships with influential Syrian expatriates. Cohen's charm, charisma, and intelligence quickly won him friends among prominent figures, including Syrian diplomats and military officials. Among these connections was Amin al-Hafez, a military attaché who would later become Syria's president. These relationships would prove pivotal as Cohen transitioned to his ultimate destination, Damascus. In February 1962, Cohen arrived in Damascus, assuming his role as a patriotic Syrian businessman eager to contribute to his homeland. He rented an elegant apartment in the city center, a location that would become infamous as the base of his operations. Cohen immediately began cultivating relationships with Syria's political and military elite. His wealth, generosity, and charm made him a trusted confidant. He hosted lavish parties where Syria's top military officials, politicians, and businessmen would gather. These gatherings provided Cohen with unparalleled access to sensitive information. Officials, often under the influence of alcohol, would openly discuss Syria's military plans, fortifications, and strategies. Eli Cohen's methods were as ingenious as they were bold. Using a concealed radio transmitter, he regularly relayed critical intelligence back to Israel. Among his most significant contributions were detailed reports on Syrian fortifications in the Golan Heights, the Syrian military's key stronghold overlooking Israel. Cohen's access allowed him to visit these areas under the guise of patriotism. During one visit, Cohen suggested planting eucalyptus trees near military bunkers to provide shade for soldiers. Unbeknownst to the Syrians, these trees became markers for Israeli forces during the 1967 Six-Day War, enabling precise targeting of Syrian positions. In addition to military intelligence, Cohen provided Israel with lists of Syrian pilots, troop movements, and weapons systems. His insights allowed the Israeli Defense Forces to prepare for potential Syrian aggression with unparalleled foresight. Eli Cohen's life in Damascus was a constant balancing act. By day, he played the role of Kamal Amin Thabet, a wealthy businessman mingling with Syria's elite. By night, he was an Israeli spy, transmitting coded messages under the cover of darkness. The strain of maintaining his double life was immense. Cohen knew that one mistake could lead to his capture and execution. Yet, his dedication to Israel never wavered. He rarely spoke to his family back in Israel, ensuring their safety by keeping them in the dark about his mission. His wife, Nadia, believed he was working abroad for the Ministry of Defense, completely unaware of the danger he faced. Cohen's intelligence reports were instrumental in shaping Israel's strategic decisions during this volatile period. His ability to gain the trust of Syria's top leaders and access highly sensitive locations was unprecedented. However, his success came with growing risks. The more information he gathered, the more frequent his transmissions became, increasing the likelihood of detection. By 1964, Cohen had become one of the most trusted individuals in Syrian political and military circles. His close friendship with Amin al-Hafez, Syria's president, provided him with unparalleled access to classified information. Cohen was even rumored to be considered for a senior government position, a testament to how deeply he had embedded himself into Syria's leadership. However, the very success that made Eli Cohen indispensable to Israel also made his mission increasingly perilous. The Syrians began to suspect the presence of a mole within their ranks, setting the stage for Cohen's eventual discovery. Eli Cohen's incredible success as a spy for Israel came at a high price. After years of gathering critical intelligence and infiltrating the highest levels of Syrian government and military, his mission was cut short in January 1965 when Syrian counterintelligence finally caught up with him. The circumstances of his capture remain one of the most debated aspects of his story, but recent revelations have shed new light on how it happened. By late 1964, Syrian intelligence had become increasingly concerned about leaks in their military plans and operations. Despite their tight-knit leadership, sensitive information seemed to be consistently reaching Israeli hands. A mole was suspected, but no one imagined it could be someone as deeply embedded as Kamal Amin Thabet, the wealthy and patriotic businessman they had come to trust. Syrian counterintelligence began working closely with Soviet advisors who supplied advanced radio detection technology to identify and locate unauthorized transmissions. These devices were capable of intercepting encrypted radio signals and pinpointing their origin. This partnership marked a turning point in their search for the mole. One critical vulnerability in Eli Cohen's operations was his need to frequently transmit information back to Israel. While his transmissions were carefully coded and encrypted, their consistency made them detectable. Cohen had developed a routine for his broadcasts, often sending them at the same time of day, which inadvertently created a pattern that could be traced. In January 1965, Syrian intelligence imposed strict periods of radio silence throughout Damascus, hoping to isolate unauthorized signals. Their strategy worked. During one of those periods, Cohen transmitted a message to Israel from his apartment. Syrian operatives intercepted the signal and triangulated its source using the Soviet-supplied equipment. In January 19, 1965, Syrian security forces surrounded Cohen's apartment in Damascus. Bursting through the door, they caught him in the act of transmitting a coded message to Israel. Cohen was arrested on the spot, his radio transmitter and other espionage equipment serving as irrefutable evidence of his activities. The moment was devastating, not just for Cohen, who knew the inevitable fate awaiting him, but also for Israel, which had relied so heavily on the intelligence he provided. Despite the overwhelming danger, Cohen remained composed during his capture, refusing to reveal any additional information that could compromise Israel's security. After his arrest, Cohen was subjected to relentless interrogation and torture by Syrian authorities. They sought to extract information about his operations, handlers, and the scope of Israel's espionage activities. Despite their brutal methods, Cohen did not divulge any critical secrets, a testament to his extraordinary resolve and loyalty. However, the evidence gathered from his equipment and intercepted transmissions was enough to build a case against him. The Syrians wasted no time in making an example of him, using his capture to send the chilling message to Israel and its allies. Eli Cohen's trial was little more than a show for domestic and international audiences. Conducted by a Syrian military tribunal, the trial highlighted Cohen's espionage activities, with prosecutors portraying him as a dangerous infiltrator who had betrayed Syria at its highest levels. The proceedings were televised across Syria, further amplifying his notoriety. Despite pleas from Israeli officials, world leaders, and even Pope Paul VI, the Syrian government refused to show leniency. Cohen was found guilty of espionage and sentenced to death. Eli Cohen's capture sent shockwaves through Israel. The Mossad, which had carefully crafted his mission, now scrambled to mitigate the fallout. Efforts to negotiate his release were met with firm resistance from the Syrian government. Cohen's intelligence had dealt significant blows to Syria's military, and the regime was determined to make an example of him. For Cohen's family, the news of his arrest was devastating. His wife, Nadia Cohen, who had been unaware of his mission, learned of his capture through media reports. Despite the public nature of his trial, the precise details of his arrest and interrogation remained shrouded in mystery for decades. For many years, speculation surrounded the circumstances of Cohen's capture. Some argued that his frequent transmissions and pressure from Israeli handlers to send more information had made him vulnerable. Others blamed operational oversight or technical failures. In 2024, Mossad Director David Barnea revealed the results of an in-depth investigation, definitively stating that Cohen was not captured due to his transmission frequency or pressure from headquarters. Instead, he was caught because of Soviet radio detection technology that intercepted and triangulated his transmissions, a chilling reminder of the risks faced by spies operating in enemy territory. Eli Cohen's capture marked the end of one of Israel's most extraordinary espionage missions. While it was a devastating blow, his bravery and the intelligence he gathered continued to shape Israel's strategic decisions for years to come. Even in his final moments, Cohen demonstrated unwavering loyalty to his mission, refusing to betray his country or his colleagues under interrogation. Eli Cohen's story did not end with his execution in 1965. His legacy continues to resonate as one of the most extraordinary tales of courage, loyalty, and sacrifice in the world of espionage. Over the decades, new revelations and commemorations have kept his memory alive, solidifying his place as a national hero in Israel and a figure of fascination around the world. In Israel, Eli Cohen is more than just a spy. He is a symbol of bravery and unwavering dedication to the survival of the Jewish state. His intelligence work provided Israel with an unmatched advantage during the 1967 Six-Day War, enabling the capture of the Golan Heights in just 2 days. His reports on Syrian fortifications and military strategies were instrumental in Israel's overwhelming victory. To honor his contributions, Cohen's name has been etched into the fabric of Israeli society. Streets, neighborhoods, and public institutions across the country bear his name, and his story is taught as part of Israel's history. A memorial stone for Eli Cohen was erected on Mount Herzl, the resting place of many Israeli heroes, in the Garden of the Missing Soldiers, a solemn reminder of his ultimate sacrifice. One of the most painful aspects of Eli Cohen's legacy is the continued absence of his remains. Despite repeated pleas by his family and diplomatic efforts by the Israeli government, Syria has steadfastly refused to return his body to Israel. This refusal underscores the enduring hostility between the two nations. Over the years, rumors and reports have surfaced regarding the location of Cohen's burial site. In 2021, it was reported that Russia, in cooperation with Syrian authorities and under Israeli pressure, was conducting searches near the Yarmouk refugee camp in Damascus to locate Cohen's remains. However, these efforts have yet to yield results. The mystery surrounding his burial remains a source of profound grief for his family and the Israeli public. In 2018, a poignant piece of Cohen's story was returned to Israel, his wristwatch. The watch had been retrieved during a Mossad operation in Syria, and its return was hailed as a significant and emotional moment. Presented to his family in a ceremony, the watch is now displayed at Mossad headquarters, serving as a tangible reminder of Cohen's life and mission. This event highlighted the Mossad's ongoing commitment to preserving Cohen's memory and its determination to bring closure to his story. While the watch is a powerful symbol, it also underscores the absence of his remains, a wound that remains unhealed. For decades, speculation surrounded the circumstances of Cohen's arrest. Did operational mistakes lead to his capture? Was he pressured to transmit too frequently? These questions persisted, casting a shadow over an otherwise extraordinary mission. To ensure that Eli Cohen's story is preserved for future generations, a museum dedicated to his life and legacy was inaugurated in Herzliya in 2024. The museum offers an immersive experience illustrating Cohen's journey through multimedia exhibits, artifacts, and reconstructions. The exhibits are divided into three key themes. The first is Eli Cohen's private life, which delves into Cohen's roots, family heritage, and upbringing in Alexandria, Egypt, highlighting the cultural and personal experiences that shaped him. The second is his professional life. This segment explores Cohen's journey as a Mossad agent, from his training to his meticulous preparation for his mission. And the third is the operational sphere, which immerses visitors in the tension and danger of Cohen's mission in Syria, including a reconstruction of his Damascus apartment and displays of previously unseen Mossad documentation. A highlight of the museum is the display of Cohen's final telegram, donated by the Mossad, which captures the gravity and urgency of his work. The museum culminates in a film summarizing Cohen's life and contributions, leaving visitors with a profound sense of his impact. Eli Cohen's story has transcended national borders, capturing the imagination of audiences worldwide. In 2019, Netflix released the miniseries The Spy, starring Sacha Baron Cohen, which dramatized his life and mission. The series brought his story to an international audience, sparking renewed interest in his legacy. Despite the dramatizations and interpretations, the core of Eli Cohen's story remains unchanged, a tale of unparalleled courage, resourcefulness, and sacrifice. Eli Cohen's legacy continues to inspire not only the Mossad, but also generations of Israelis who see in him the ultimate example of service and sacrifice. His intelligence work not only saved countless lives, but also changed the course of history. His story serves as a reminder of the extraordinary lengths to which individuals go in defense of their nations and the values they hold dear. As Israel continues to seek closure and honor his memory, Cohen's life stands as a testament to the human spirit's resilience in the face of insurmountable odds. Eli Cohen's story is not just one of espionage. It's a story of courage, dedication, and the ultimate sacrifice. His intelligence didn't just save lives, it shaped the future of a nation. But his body remains in Syria, a poignant reminder of the price he paid. What do you think is the most extraordinary part of Eli Cohen's story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories of bravery and resilience. Click thanks or join our channel to support our work. And let's ensure Eli Cohen's legacy continues to inspire future generations. Thank you for watching.